Room. We're at the Will Smith's Boom Boom Room. It's a multi-million-dollar facility, and I noticed some like improvised sound treatment out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well,
We had to
in
do
this
it.
room, because a lot of people tend to like the mic facing the booth they want to see, and this is what they want to record.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, it's what they want, but you still have to be able to get the best sound. So when I walked in the room, I was hearing something like I don't have an effect on the vocal, but I'm hearing effect coming through. I walk in the room, I'm clapping my hands, and I hear a reflection coming off the glass, and it's pinging right back.
So that's why you put the pillows
Yeah, I took
around
pillows
the
and
glass?
just put pillows up there, and it killed it. I mean, sometimes it's a simple
Do
fix,
you,
and sometimes it's a mic placement.
on the pillows, do you prefer foam or feather?
Usually feather. Feather.
I think the feather, the absorption
Yeah,
is
it's
better.
a little bit better sound quality.
Yeah,
with
and
feather.
that's
That's a trade secret right there.
Yeah,
Feather
and
pillows.
no geese were killed in the filming of this ITL segment. I'd like to make sure we clarify that.
Right.
Windscreens. Do you use windscreens?
Yes, definitely. And I know a lot of project studio guys always have this problem where you set the mic up, you have a windscreen a nice distance away. First thing the artist does is put it on top of that mic and get
Yeah.
on top of the mic.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a lot of artists have a lot of discipline. The veterans, they know how to work a mic. So you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I can set it one thing and I get the perfect sound. Yeah, because they're working the mic. But yeah, you have to work with a lot
How
of.
do you
the new
guys deal
artists.
with an artist that's like jumping around and dancing and moving around? You just like
I mean-
duct tape them to the microphone?
But I mean, after a while, they get it. I'm like, listen, when they come in the room and they hear what it sounds like, I'm like, listen, if you're not in front of the mic, I can change the pattern on the mic, but I'm changing my sound too.
B, you mentioned that the only EQing you do is basically roll off a little bottom end. What's your EQ of choice for that?
I mean, going to tape, of course, the 1073, I'll definitely engage it because it does add a little tiny bit of color to it. But it's just to roll off. But I'd rather EQ and leave a lot more of that for the mixing.
And you,
Right.
and you, Andrew?
Definitely the same concept.
Because he does a great mix EQ, so if I set up
We
a
made
great
a-
vocal, it's really easy for him.
Yeah.
So, and I don't like to color something that's not there.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I'm
usually
saying?
roll off maybe 60 and below. Like
80 at the most, depending on what the
very rarely even 80 though, because at that point you may be losing some of your bottom information. Usually nothing below 60 you really want in a vocal. A lot of that is just air conditioning, hum, and especially for people working in project studios, that's going to be a big thing. Is
the
I remember
garage opening.
when I first moved out here, years ago, I was working in a smaller studio that was right next to the 405, right next to the freeway, and you could actually, if you really, really turned it up loud without the roll off, you could actually hear the freeway. And so things like that, you may need to roll off some of that, lower garbage information, as I call it, just down there.
Is there ever a time when, like, say, maybe on a rock vocal? I remember one time I recorded James Brown, and is there ever a time when you would choose a condenser mic? I mean, a dynamic mic over a condenser mic. I know on James Brown we used an SM7, and that was the best mic for him.
In rock vocals, absolutely, because they're really screaming into that mic, and they're really, back to touching on what I was talking about earlier, where some vocalists can blow up some of the older vintage mics, that have more sensitive diaphragms. A dynamic mic would be perfect for that. We cut a lot of scratch vocals with dynamic mics, just because people can really scream and really get the idea out and really feel what they're singing without having to worry about, oh, did I blow up the mic? Is it distorted? And it's something with a rock vocal where you don't need as much of a round kind of, fat sound. It can be, because, in the end, it's going to be really compressed. It's going to be really up in your face. And it's all about that energy and that, them just letting it all out into that mic. So a dynamic mic would be great for something like that.
Is there ever a time where you guys would use two microphones on a vocal, one close, one farther away?
I've done it before just to get different tones. We've done it with like Celine Dion's done it. There's several artists. I've done it with Mariah before.
With Katie,
we've done it.
we set up 3 or 4 microphones for auditioning purposes.
Yeah, to see which
like
one.
we had her sing, us and then Kook, of course. We all had her sing into one microphone, and then we had her sing the same verse into another microphone, and then we just sort of went back and forth, and then Kook and Tricky, who were the producers, had the final say, of course, on which sound they liked the best. But we all we set that up for auditioning purposes to figure out what the best mic for her would be, so we could get the best tone out of her for that.
Well, guys, I've learned a lot today talking with you
Great.
guys. It's really been great. And
Sure.
What can we look for in the future that you guys have done? I think we can look for a new Beyonce.
New Beyonce. We're starting with Leona Lewis, so we're going to be working on some records with her.
So many people.
Yeah, a lot of people. We're working
The
with a
Dreams
really
coming
great.
out with another
Yeah,
new
Dreams
album.
coming, and also we're working with a really great band called Semi Precious Weapon, that
Yeah,
Back to the
it's-
Rock thing. So that's going to be really fun. You know, they got some really fun
Unique vocals.
Yeah, really unique sound, kind of like a pop punk type of thing. So that should be really exciting. And, just keep it moving.
All right. Well, listen, I hope you appreciate, I certainly do, Andrew and B's time today.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
Oh, no trouble
It's
at
a
all.
pleasure, Dave.